It's been called Hillary Clinton's best week ever. Wednesday was big when Vice President Biden, who could have been her toughest rival for the Democratic nomination, declared he would not run. But Thursday was even bigger as the former Secretary of State sat in the hot seat for an 11-hour spectacle with the House committee investigating the 2012 attacks in Benghazi, Libya, that killed 4 Americans.
Did you ever talk to Ambassador Stevens when all of this was going on in the hotbed of Libya? Well, that is a yes or no question, Madam Secretary. I'm sorry. Did you ever personally speak to Ambassador Stevens after? We don't know the answer. Did you ever personally speak to him after you swore him in May? Yes or no, please?
Yes, I believe I did.
It was the show the GOP had been waiting for, this likely Democratic presidential nominee getting grilled on the security failure that occurred during her watch. And after 11 hours, what exactly did we learn? The committee chair, Republican Congressman Trey Gowdy of South Carolina, has that answer.
What new things you learned today?
I think some of Jimmy Jordan's questioning, well, when you say new today, I mean, we knew some of that already. We knew about the emails. In terms of her testimony, I don't know that she testified that much differently today than she has the previous time she's testified. So I'd have to go back and look at the transcript.
After 11 hours, not to mention the months of preparation, and the committee chair's response was, I don't know. Last night, in her first interview since Thursday, Secretary Clinton reacted to Chairman Gowdy's comment on MSNBC's The Rachel Maddow Show.
Does that make you glad you did it, or does that make you feel like it was a waste of time?
I said I would do it, and I did it because if there is anything new, which is unlikely after the 8 prior investigations that have been held, we should know about it, because the point is, what are we going to do to both honor the people that we lost and try to make sure this doesn't happen again?
Joining the table now is Karen Finney, senior advisor and senior spokesperson for Hillary Clinton 2016. Your candidate had a big week.
We did have a big week. Yeah, it was a good week. You know, Thursday I think was so important for a number of reasons. I think people saw a president sitting at that table. I mean, who else could sit there for 11 hours? I mean, just her command of the information. She was, you know, calm, cool, collected throughout all of it, took all of the questions. And we're talking about events that happened quite a while ago in very meticulous detail, talking about, you know, the security measures, talking about what happened, talking about sort of the relationships between this country and what was going on at the time in Libya. So I think the Republicans were disappointed because the truth is they didn't ask much that was new. So there wasn't much new to say. And I think it was quite obviously, and you've got Trey Gowdy on the campaign trail today with Jeb Bush. So if that doesn't tell you that this was political, I don't know what else will.
And so I got to say, you know, we talked a little bit earlier in the hour about this idea that Americans are feeling distressed about government in general, and the Republican base is feeling distressed about what the Republican Party may be actually doing in Congress. And I feel like what happened on Thursday ups the ante on both of those.
Oh, look, I agree. I think the Clinton campaign is probably going to hire now Trey Gowdy because that was a gift to Hillary. Look, it was a colossal waste of time. Look, I think...
And not just time, taxpayer money.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I mean, they want Republicans to focus on the issues of the day, the concerns of regular Americans. I think in terms of Benghazi, the damage is done. People, I think, realize that the administration, that Secretary Clinton was not truthful. To do another hearing to repeat the same questions, and Trey Gowdy says we have no new information. I mean, the damage is done. Why do it? In politics, you can't get too greedy. I mean,
it may be your opinion that you don't believe what they said, but as Hillary said on Thursday a number of times, you may not like the answer, but that's.
But as a matter of political strategy, let me just suggest. So whether not adjudicating her truthfulness, right? I think there may be a point to be made that whatever damage there was, whatever drip that has been caused, suddenly got reversed on Thursday. Thursday.
Yeah, I think, look, she testified 33 months ago. She answered a lot of these questions 33 months ago. Media Matters has a list of not only all the questions she was asked, all of them have been answered. We have been debunking this for 3 years.
Yeah, I actually wonder if you guys are sad that it seems to be over now, because like now what happens in
Look, if they're going to keep throwing misinformation at us, we'll just keep fact-checking it. But, you know, look, here's the other point that I think is important. You know, Hillary at the debate, Hillary at the hearing, where was the phony, calculating, inauthentic Hillary Clinton that the press has been depicting for 6 months? She has been under a barrage of endlessly negative, snarky coverage, and you take it away the filter, and people are like, "Oh, that's not who she."
Well, but
she's
I'll
smart.
tell you,
She's savvy. She knows the
so
answers.
it's interesting. I consistently see in Hillary Clinton over the years, she so candidates are good and bad at different kinds of things. She is particularly good when attacked, right? So it is sort of her sweet spot about when she's suddenly really like it's kind of focusing for her.
And I think this is not a small point. And if we think about what happened here, if we think of it as a witch hunt, if you're going to stage a witch hunt, it's theater. It's public theater. You have to do that in a competent way. And this was completely incompetent. And so I think it damaged the Republican Party because.
I just want to add something, though, because I think part of it is, you know, what you also saw on Thursday was someone who, this is who she is. She takes, you know, the job very seriously. She knows the facts. She knew the information. She knew I mean, that's also part of her and part of her leadership style and just part of who she is as a human being. And by the way, what we did not see on Thursday was anything that told us anything about how we make sure we don't lose more Americans. Instead, you've got Congress, Republicans in Congress, by the way, fighting over whether or not to fund a training center that could actually help prevent what happened.
In fact, I want to listen to Secretary Clinton talking about exactly that point.
It is deeply unfortunate that something as serious as what happened in Benghazi could ever be used for partisan political purposes. And I'm hoping that we can move forward together. We can start working together.
I mean, on the pure politics, she took it and she flipped it. She flipped it on you.
Well, yeah. Days before she had said that Republicans were her big enemies. Now she wants to gather.
Well, I'm sorry. What did you see there on Thursday? Were they friendly?
No, absolutely. I told you it was terrible theater. But a week doesn't make a campaign.
No, that's right.
There are many statements
right.
of her where she contradicts herself, and we still have that first hearing where she said, "What does it matter?"
No, right. So she didn't win the presidency. I'll give it to you.
People question her credibility. That is
why
a reality.
We're talking about talking points instead of talking about the death of poor Americans.
Yes. This is what happened on Thursday. Up next, we're going to talk about the best testimony of all over Secretary Clinton's face. This is all happening. It is still happening.